You know, I've been thinking. I recently spent a lot of time watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with my wife. She was completely new to the setting, and I felt like I had to give her a heads up getting into the show about how Araki writes, even though my wife will watch just about anything. And I'm talking about anything. The following essay is completely my own opinion on the matter, but I'm going to try to make it as objective as possible. I love the world of JoJo that Araki has created. It's broad in scope and can cover a lot of themes while also being one cohesive unit. The idea of segmenting his series into parts like it's Metal Gear Solid or something is probably the best idea that Araki ever had. But Araki just has this problem with writing where I'm assuming he writes himself into a corner. Then he'll do something like not use a character's abilities to their most obvious and basic potential. As of writing this, we just finished part 4, so I'm going to use the fight with Red Hot Chili Peppers to air my grievances. Obviously, before we get into this, I've only watched up to part 5, and I'm not a manga reader, so I don't know if any of this is addressed in later parts. But if I know Araki, I'm guessing he's about as stuck in his writing style as I am up my own ass. There's this famous situation that Hitchcock invented where he speaks about creating suspense. If you have a family eating dinner and then a bomb goes off, the shock will hit the audience immediately and then fade. But if you show the bomb on screen 2 minutes before with a timer, then you've created suspense. I feel like somehow Araki has gone his entire life without hearing this anecdote. Or maybe he has, and somehow he just took it to mean something else. I honestly can't tell. If you haven't watched JoJo, I feel like I should go ahead and tell you right now that this is going to contain heavy spoilers for a few fights in the series. But we're mainly going to focus on Chili Pepper. So there's your warning. I just want to make sure that I don't upset anyone. In Part 4, Episode 11, the gang has recently met up far away from town, avoiding electricity because the stand Red Hot Chili Peppers can travel through electrical currents. Everyone seems to have come out here on foot, except for Okuyasu, who arrived by motorcycle. They then speak candidly about their plan, and for the entire scene we're getting these shots of the motorcycle. To be frank, this does a good job of building suspense, but in the wrong way. Take the bomb situation from earlier. In this case, they're showing us the bomb, but it doesn't have a timer. It's not shown that Chili Pepper is inside the battery of the motorcycle, and we aren't privy to any of his reactions. We can guess, but it just doesn't have the same effect as showing the audience that Chili Pepper is inside the motorcycle and creating a palpable sense of anxiety of him perhaps being figured out, or vice versa. The main problem with the situation is that we all know what's going on. Chili Pepper is inside the bike's battery, and this somehow comes as a surprise to everyone, even though they should all be aware that motorcycles have batteries. A better way to write this scene would have been for the characters to realize that the battery was there, only to check and find that Chili Pepper was not in the battery, but was in another less conspicuous electrical item that was used in the scene. This would have been a really nice red herring, but then again, I'm not so sure that I trust Araki to even write something like this. He would probably forget to show the electrical equipment that Chili Pepper would be hiding in. If I had to guess from Araki's writing style, it would probably be hiding in something like a cell phone in someone's pocket, or the vibrator stuck up Koichi's ass. Now, to be fair, this is completely understandable for Okuyasu. He's characterized as an absolute idiot for most of the show. Much like myself, he basically can't do anything without the help of someone more intelligent. Josuke is only, 16? I probably did some stupid things at 16, and Koichi is short, but both Koichi and Jotaro are characterized as both dependable and intelligent throughout the series up to this point. They are witty and capable of seeing through deception. Hell, that's how Jotaro wins most of his conflicts in Part 3. Somehow neither of them realize that a motorcycle has a battery and that Chili Pepper could have stowed away inside. When Chili Pepper finally reveals itself to the group, it hops on the motorcycle and rides off to the port to intercept the key component in the Joestar gang's plan to find out who is distantly controlling it. Koichi comes up with a plan of just throwing a rock at the motorcycle with either Crazy Diamond or Star Platinum, but Okuyasu, being upset not only that Chili Pepper has stolen his bike, but that the killer of his older brother is getting away, springs into action. This is when Okuyasu is shown to have about as much self-control as I do.
Hey, yeah, it's me, the Grim Reaper. Ooh, spooky. So this might be hard to believe, but you're Ew! Oh my god! Ugh, you're just disgusting! God! What's with the eye and the... Ugh! I'm not doing this.
This is the second fuck-up that Araki makes. Okuyasu is stupid, but he's shown to be a capable fighter outside of the one time that he threw a potted plant at his own face while fighting Josuke. But for some reason, instead of using the hand's ability to eliminate space between the motorcycle and the group to bring the motorcycle closer, Okuyasu decides the best immediate course of action is to bring himself closer to the motorcycle. The only reason I can come up with Okuyasu doing this is either because he's stupid, or that Araki forgot that he could use the stand's ability that way. Running away from Okuyasu just isn't a possibility. He can just destroy the space between you and then you'll be right back where you were. This is probably the best use of the hand, and I honestly refuse to believe that I was the first person to see this, but I digress. So let's just chalk this up to Okuyasu is stupid. I'm willing to suspend disbelief and say that the unintelligent character makes an unintelligent move. Reasonable enough. So now Okuyasu is on top of the bike and strikes through it, destroying Chili Pepper's means of escape. Not only that, but with so little electricity after the small skirmish, Chili Pepper is completely running out of electricity to use. During this whole scene, while Okuyasu and Chili Pepper are fighting, Josuke, Jotaro, and Koichi are slowly catching up by foot for some reason. They aren't even running, they're just walking. Not to mention that, yet again, Okuyasu could just use the hand to bring them closer. I'm starting to think that Okuyasu not using the hand is an inside joke that Araki came up with, but then forgot to make it funny. As a side note, JoJo, as a manga, probably works a lot better due to the absolute exposition drops that Araki uses as dialogue. In this scene where Okuyasu destroys the motorcycle that Chili Pepper is using to escape, Okuyasu and Chili Pepper share some words before it's revealed that the motorcycle is broken in half. But of course, for convenience sake, the bike is working completely normally up until the conversation is over. I guess talking is a free action. I roll to stab the king. I swear, if someone ever tries to hang me for my crimes, I'm just going to spout JoJo exposition at them. Then when I escape unscathed, I'm gonna go kill a man for letting his dog defecate on my neighbor's lawn. But I should probably live out my dream of being a milkman for... Wait, sorry, where were we? Oh yeah, well, there is a small fight hereafter where Chili Pepper punches Okuyasu all of, once, and then Okuyasu gets the upper hand by warping himself out of the way using the hand. Yet again, talking is a free action here, and there is a huge delay between Okuyasu swiping away space and then moving, which was shown to not be the case just moments ago. Regardless, Okuyasu starts stomping on Chili Pepper, and then Chili Pepper responds by rolling out of the way. While he is rolling around on the ground, Okuyasu uses the hand to destroy several segments of dirt. Things are really looking bad for Chili Pepper, right? He doesn't have anything left up his sleeve, he's getting the shit kicked out of him, the closest electrical wire is out of range, and backup for Okuyasu is on the way. This is where the shit writing comes in. Chili Pepper finally runs out of juice, but using something completely pulled out of Araki's ass gets away. Can you guess what it is? No? Well, that's okay, because it's never been mentioned before. It's the power lines in the ground. Okuyasu severed a power line cable in the ground that allowed Chili Pepper to escape through the currents. This is how Araki shits all over his own conflict. He builds up suspense, and then when it's time for the bomb to go off, he has a bomb defusal squad that the audience wasn't even aware of come on screen and then say that they defused the bomb 10 minutes ago. Then a character will gloat about how they called the bomb defusal squad 30 minutes ago, but of course the audience wasn't privy to this information because it would destroy the suspense. This isn't good writing. It's writing yourself into a corner and then just coming up with whatever you need to fix the issue and then shoving it into the story. Araki does this constantly, and I'm pretty sure that a child could do it. This is why I can't understand people enjoying JoJo for anything more than the setting. The most likely answer for Araki having this problem is that JoJo is serialized. I can't say for certain, but most manga publishers require that the author put out at least one chapter a month. That's usually at least 20 pages or so of full art. I don't doubt that Araki has staff working with him to help, but this is still quite the undertaking. Araki's terrible conflict resolutions are probably due to the awful working conditions and time constraints that manga authors have to work in. So, all due respect towards Araki, I definitely couldn't do it. Of course, all of this isn't to say that Araki doesn't have good conflict in his writing, but those are few and far between. Examples of bad writing can be seen all over the series. AC/DC is defeated because Joseph ties string together in a special way off-screen. Atom is defeated because Hermit Purple is cheating off-screen. Even Dio, arguably the most charismatic and favorite villain of the series, is defeated by a last-minute power-up. While all of these are bad, at least some of them are fun. Josuke putting a ripped-up glove in his stomach off-screen to defeat Aqua Necklace is still calling the bomb squad off-screen, but at least makes sense for him to do so since he was already aware of the bomb, or in this case, Aqua Necklace's favorite strategy. As a matter of fact, Aqua Necklace is probably the least egregious and most fun example that the show has. But while we're talking about Chili Pepper, am I the only one who noticed that the whole reason that it wanted to kill Joseph Joestar was to get rid of Hermit Purple so that they couldn't find out who the identity of the user was? Then why did he reveal himself at the docks anyway for seemingly no reason? I could give examples all day of the way that Araki ruins his own series. That's why I'm excited for Mick Lauer's Blood Sun Vendetta. Having someone else write a story that takes place in the JoJo universe might be a breath of fresh air for Araki's stale formula. Maybe I should just get into reading JoJo fanfiction. While I'm here, as an aside, I suppose I'll go ahead and give a score to JoJo Part 4. It was better than Part 3, but only fixed some of the issues with the writing. Josuke is probably the most likable JoJo outside of young Joseph, and as always, Part 4 oozed style and soul. But when Part 4 misses the mark, it really misses hard. It's a Monster of the Week series up until episode 21, and Kira is definitely the show's biggest pull. I honestly can't understand not using him from the beginning. I can only guess that it's because Araki hadn't created him yet. Watching Kira go through his daily routine and have his own little adventures as the villain was a good change of pace from Dio sitting in the dark for all of Part 3. All around, I think that Yoshikage Kira is probably a much better villain than Cars as well. That's not to say that Cars is a bad villain. The Pillarmen were very enjoyable, and I always enjoy chivalrous, knightly villains. But Yoshikage Kira had the best of all worlds when it came to JoJo villains, even though I am a bit suspicious about how much Kira is based on American Psycho. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 4, gets a 6 out of 10. Fine. Shying away from having a villain that could entertain the audience for half the series was a huge mistake, but maybe that's a topic that I should look into in another video. What do you think? Should I make a video exploring how JoJo presents its villains? Or maybe you have another idea for what I should cover next? Leave your ideas in the comments below. Sharing this video would also mean a lot to me personally. I know you've probably already turned the video off, but if you do the rest of the call to action stuff like subscribe and all that stuff, then you're a real sweetheart. Thank you for watching. I love you all.